You are listening to the Vaultcast, the official podcast of the B-Movie Film Vault, with your hosts, Jordan Guerin and Silent Steve Oldford.
Welcome to the Vaultcast. This is your friendly neighborhood Vaultmaster, Jordan Guerin.
And this is Silent Steve.
And we are back.
Again.
By popular demand.
I guess. We would just kind of do this.
It's a hobby.
Yeah. There are some people, though, that are reaching, and they get people. They get millions of people, but you can tell they're reaching, and you can tell they're trying to appeal. We're just happy that anyone listens. So, I mean, if you download this and you listen to it, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
We really are grateful for our listener. All right, so...
Pat ourselves in the back there. Okay.
Yeah.
So...
The criteria... Okay, what we were going to talk about this week was, you say...
we were going to talk about versus movies, particularly how they kind of are set up to fail from the get-go.
I have a soft agreement of what you're saying.
Okay.
I have to come in with something that sort of factors into what you're saying, and I have to get it out of the way. And that is, I've come up with a way to review movies now. It's like an equation. Because you kind of need an equation now because movies have become so formulaic that you need an equation to define them by. Everything is in a universe now, and that factors into our versus conversation. And it will factor into our Star Wars conversation, and it will factor into our Marvel conversations. So I'm going to go ahead and say, right now, I'm putting this equation out there, and that is, first and foremost, it's a three-part equation.
We're going back to Aristotle times.
Okay, yeah. We don't need to say how I came up with this. Okay. I was reading Aristotle, and I came up with this. And by the way, I don't like Aristotle, but still.
It just makes us sound smarter. That's what.
Okay, yeah. I was reading Aristotle, and I started to think, okay, does the film stand on its own? Does Aristotle, what he's saying, does it stand on its own? That's what I was thinking while I was reading it, right?
Okay, gotcha.
All right, so does the film stand on its own? Is it consistent with the universe that it is in? Okay. And then finally, and least importantly, I should add, do I like it? And the reason I say least importantly is because we live in the age where people can comment on anything.
True.
We live in an age where you can download an app and say how you feel about a restaurant, or download an app and say how you feel about a movie, or download an app and say how you feel about a book, and all of a sudden your opinion matters, I guess. South Park had a great episode on this because it was about... what was the app they were making fun of?
They were making fun of Yelp.
Yes, Yelp, with the boogers income.
So you're one of Yelpers, special blessed. You demand a restaurant's very best. Well, they're gonna treat you special, I'm telling you, chum. Now get yourself ready for some boogers and cum. Boogers and cum. That's called...
All right, so... That's the name of the song. I can't rename the song.
The point of the episode, though, was that everybody, now that they have the power to speak out against anything and give a review or critique on something, were empowered and felt that their opinion mattered, but didn't really pay attention to anybody else's.
Doesn't really matter, yeah. The thing is, when you're reading a random opinion, is it in line with your opinion? Because people don't share the same values.
True.
Okay, so that's why I came up with the first two. It's sort of like a pyramid. Does the movie stand on its own? Does it support the universe that it's in? Because every movie is a universe movie now.
Yeah.
And then at the end, which matters the least now, and I don't know why, did I like it?
That used to be the point, though.
That used to be the point, but now it isn't the point. It is like the least important thing now.
Now it is the point. It's the point of the pyramid.
Maybe that's the power of franchises. That my opinion doesn't matter about a franchise anymore. A movie can come out. Let's say I don't like the Han Solo movie that comes out.
Yeah.
It won't matter. It'll still make the money it wants to make because it's part of the universe. That's the guarantee that Hollywood has always wanted. They've got it, and they've got the people that'll line up for it. It's depressing, but now we know our opinion doesn't matter. And you're listening to this for no reason. All right, so let's go on into the versus commentary.
Versus films.
Yeah.
What makes a versus film? You either have something attacking humanity and they have to fight back against it, or you have two iconic characters duking it out. Pretty much. So
you're not talking about the movie Versus, which is the only good movie made by that director.
I know, right? Very sorry, Ryuhei Kitamura, but Versus is your one movie. I'm sorry.
Which is a good movie if you get a chance to watch it. It's decent. It doesn't hold up great, but it's still...
It's style over substance.
Yes.
The characters don't even have
You know what
names.
it's like? It's like if Sam Raimi directed a movie with no script. He's just like, hey, let's go to the woods. That's what it feels like. All right, so anyway, so going to what you were saying.
some of the examples back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, you had movies like Earth versus the Spider.
They search ceaselessly for a missing man, or possibly a giant spider no one really believes exists, except the high school teacher who knows his science and his students.
Earth versus the Flying Saucers.
Flying saucers have invaded our planet. Washington, London, Paris, Moscow are key targets. The whole world is under attack. Can it survive?
Navy versus the Night Monster, like shit like that. And the difference is, when you have a generic threat in a movie, humanity almost always comes out on top at the end. Mm-hmm. But
now you have properties.
Then we have properties. Japan started it in, 62 with Godzilla, when they did King Kong versus Godzilla.
Well,
they didn't start it. No, you're right. Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman was the start, I believe.
It wasn't supposed to be what it was, though.
Well, no, it was supposed to be a King Kong versus a Frankenstein monster concept.
But they couldn't get the rights for all that. You're going back pretty far, and I don't think systemically that factors into what's going on now.
Not what's going on, no.
But if you're going to go from a historical standpoint, yes, that was the first one where they ran into trouble with the verses.
Yeah.
But it was more like proprietary stuff. It was more like, oh, you don't own this. But they came up with a creative, enjoyable movie.
Yeah.
Right. Which I don't think they would do now. Now I think they would just shut it down and move on.
And that's one of the main fundamental issues with versus movies that have iconic characters, is that they make changes to the characters to kind of put them on level playing field.
All right, well, now you're specifically talking about Godzilla versus King Kong.
Yes.
King Kong versus Godzilla, heading for their colossal collision, shattering every obstacle that stands between them in the most fantastic rampage of annihilation ever recorded on film.
Because they gave King Kong, not only was he taller, but he had electrical powers that he didn't have before, and somehow Godzilla's radioactive fire was weaker and it couldn't burn right through flesh.
Ooh, Godzilla is roasting King Kong.
Electrical storm up ahead of us, sir.
Lightning bolts. Kong has a chance. Electricity makes him stronger. Now watch.
And also, Godzilla was afraid of electricity, which we know is bullshit.
Yeah, from the first movie.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It hurts him, but he could deal with it. He doesn't run away from it.
Yeah. That doesn't necessarily factor... I would say the versus movies now, and there are versus movies now and coming up, because of the way Disney and Universal, they're clamoring for properties that people like. You're going to have versus movies that we don't even know about yet. And the reason you're going to have versus movies like that is because people will line up for something to cheer for.
Absolutely.
You know? I mean, this is a halftime show. I'm a Lions fan, right? And we're at halftime now, and this, I mean, you don't pick who you love.
Yeah.
And this team has made me suffer for decades. All right? But you don't pick who you love. And if you, let's say, and I don't understand why, but let's say you like King Kong for Godzilla.
Yeah.
You're going to go to King Kong versus Godzilla rooting for him, right? If you're that person.
Yeah, of course.
I'm personally going to hope that Godzilla just burns him alive and we can just move on from this whole thing. There's that built-in thing that Hollywood want. They want you to line up. They want your guaranteed ticket price. And they don't care if they entertain you. And that's the sad part of the versus thing. The good part of the versus thing is that you do get this movie. And there are decent movies that came out of this that I would say in the 50s and 60s, there were decent movies that came out of this from things that didn't work out. Right? And like you said, humanity should come out on top, and it should, because, I mean, you don't want to walk out of a theater, unless you're watching Rogue One, you don't want to walk out of a theater thinking that humanity's never going to survive. That's a joke. I liked Rogue One more than you, but that's a different podcast.
I know. We're focusing on Godzilla. There's other properties, too. Freddy versus Jason.
Why won't you die? Freddy versus Jason.
Place your bets.
Which, look at me with judgy eyes, I have not watched.
Oh, you haven't?
I haven't watched that one.
It's
because there's two reasons I didn't watch that.
Oh, boy.
Number one, it came too late.
That's what she said.
No, it came too late. I mean, like, both those franchises, that collision should have happened. I mean, what were we in? Like, with Jason, we were in number X? Was it after X?
Yeah. Yep.
So we're after number 10?
Yeah, 10 Friday the 13th.
And how many Nightmares?
We had 7 Nightmares.
It would have been 7 Nightmares.
Yeah.
That should have happened early on when they were super popular.
Yeah.
And you would have gotten the box office revenue, and people would have still bought the same premise.
It did very well in the box office. 91 million domestically.
Oh, that's so great.
That is great. They only spent 40
It would have done a
mil
lot better than that.
It made double its money back in America.
Okay, we're never going to meet.
Well, you never watched it, so you can't comment on it.
No, I can't comment on the quality of the movie. I can tell you why I didn't watch it, though.
I can tell you it's really bad, but when you get to the final battle, it makes up for so much of it.
No.
Just like Rogue One. Oh! Sucker punch.
Okay, we're getting to a different podcast here, sir.
Stop it.
You stop it. All right, so go ahead.
But anyway, the one major change they made in that was Jason was afraid of water. Freddy was afraid of fire, which makes sense because he was burned alive. But Jason has never been afraid of water. He may have drowned in Crystal Lake, but through 90% of the movies, he'd either pop up out of the water or drag somebody into the water.
Yeah, he's been.
So that's been
his emergence rather than his fear.
Yeah. So it's a fundamental flaw. They changed the character.
Well, they just didn't put enough thought into what would have made him afraid. You would have had to have some Freddy dress up as his mother.
He did that!
I'm disappointed in you, Jason. You disobeyed me. You were supposed to come back home, just kill a few of them. But I blame myself. I should have known you wouldn't be able to stop killing. You are like a big super dog who can't stop eating! Even though your master said you've had enough!
Now, it's time to put this bad dog to sleep. For good!
Oh, did he?
That's how he controls Jason. He comes back
as watch that movie now. Then.
He comes back as Jason's mother and is like, "Kill them, Jason."
I guess I have to watch the movie now. Oh, okay, all right.
And Alien versus Predator. All right, every Predator movie's taken place where? Tropical locations. Okay. That one takes place in the Antarctic.
Yeah, that was weird.
Why?
And then you had the Predator 2 kind of set up. Predator 2 tried to set up a mythos of every 10 years.
Yeah.
Predator 2. He's in town with a few days to kill.
Whenever it grows hot.
Well, yeah, she said that in the jungle, but then
in the
Predator
movie, 2
established it. It was yes, this is how it's. And I remember it's so funny because that movie came out. When did Predator 2 come out? It came out in
92, maybe 91.
No,
90.
Had to be 90.
We'll say 90.
We'll say 90. I remember. I was in 3rd grade, so it had to be 90. I remember having an argument in the playground because my one friend said, "Oh, they set that in 1997. There's going to be flying cars by then." It's like not. I am serious. We had that argument. I was like, there will not be flying cars by 1990. Oh, yeah, there will. Okay, so everybody's believed in flying cars that long.
1990. We're right.
Yeah, eventually. Good. Yeah, so people in 1990, or at least children in 1990, believed there would be flying cars within 7 years.
Yeah.
Nope. So, the point is, they violated a lot of... maybe that's the problem with versus movies, and you've brought it up maybe subliminally, but... that you have to come in favor of one property ahead of time. And that hurts the other one, though.
Which brings me to my second main point.
What?
There can never be a clear winner. There's always that danger of alienating part of the fan base.
Yes, there was the mystery of whether or not Godzilla won in the Japanese cut of Godzilla. We talk about Godzilla way too much, but I guess our fans will be okay with that. Our fan. I'm a jerk. If you are listening to it, there's a chance that you aren't alone. Anyway... Just based on our return reviews.
Focus. Focus. There.
Yes.
There. So Godzilla.
Yeah,
You've done 5 podcasts
there was a long rumor. I mean, this rumor lasts decades. That Godzilla in the Japanese cut won, but because you heard the Godzilla roar, that cut never existed. That was total fabrication.
Yep.
Which is weird because it would have had to been fabricated on our side of the pond.
Well, it started with that little orange book by Ian Thorne.
Oh, the one I gave you for your birthday?
That's what started it, I believe. Because I read that when I was a kid. I was like, oh, there's 2 versions? I have to see this. And I have seen the Japanese cut.
Maybe that is where it started. Because I remember as a child thinking that I wanted to see every Godzilla movie ever. But I wanted him to be real.
I think that was the first time we realized there's more than one version of the movie.
Yeah. Okay, well then it's his fault. It's still a good book. No, it's still a good book.
All right, he's right.
I would have never known about a lot of the movies that existed. You got to take the good with the bad.
Oh yeah, I read all his books: Murders in the Rue Morgue, Deadly Mantis, Frankenstein, Wolfman, all
Dracula.
that shit.
You did Dracula.
Yep. Thank you, Ian Thorne. I'm sorry I said fuck you. I'm drinking.
And you have his book signed by all the Godzillas.
No, just the original.
Just the original.
Yeah, it was cool. Yes, we met all the original Godzillas.
I think you told this story before.
And I had Haruo Nakajima, the original Godzilla, sign the little orange Ian Thorne book.
And he looked at it like
he looked so perplexed at it. But he's like, here's my name, handshake, smile, thank you.
He's probably thinking I never got the rights for this. Anyway, so
it's funny too because all the other fans that saw it were like, "Where did you get that? What is that?"
All right, so you're right. It's either a draw or it's a technical draw, which is just an undecisive, right? Is that what you mean by that?
Usually they fight to the death and they both quote-unquote die.
Oh, yeah.
There's never a clear winner. Alien vs. Predator is weird, though. Like, I was used that as an example.
The difference with Alien vs. Predator is that they're like insects. They just breed. There's not like a particular alien.
And that all started because of Predator 2. From the scene on the ship towards the end.
That's what started them being in the same universe, and the fact that Fox owned both of them. But no, the point I'm trying to make is that the character of the alien is such that there isn't a particular alien that you have to take out.
Well, except the queen.
Well, no, but like there can be multiple queens. They're like ant colonies. It doesn't matter.
That's true. Yes.
And with the Predator, like even though there are different predators, each one has its own person. They're people.
Yeah.
They're aliens. We have to respect them as aliens. We have to respect their rights as aliens and not treat them like they're aliens. We're not going to build a wall between us and space. So...
No, don't get political.
I'm not going to get political.
We just lost everybody.
I didn't lose anybody. That's a joke. The point being, like, even in the bad Predators movies, they took an effort to make each one of them seem individual.
Yeah.
Each one of them was into something that made them... That's the way their society is.
The
aliens, they're like
way.
ants. They're like, you have the queen and the hive.
Yeah.
Okay, so like they handled it improperly, I would say.
But they all in the same way. The Predator cheats and tries to blow himself up. And that's actually how Alien vs. Predator ends. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't want to do the spoiler alert for that. Well, I guess it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. If you've seen
movie.
Predator 1, 2, and Predators, you know what he does in the end when he's about to lose. Cheap bastard.
I would say with the Versus, and the problem is, you've put some Versus movies down that I haven't seen.
Which I'm kind of surprised by.
No, well, I mean, the Freddy vs. Jason one, I've seen all the Freddy and all the Jason movies, and I felt like I was being pandered to. It happened to be, it isn't a good reason, but it just happened to be how I was at the time.
Yeah.
And so I can't judge that movie properly. It may be good, it may be bad, I don't know.
Well, now we're going to watch it.
Okay.
At some point.
Yeah.
Down the road.
That's pretty far down the list. The Batman vs. Superman, my hang up with that is just that the people I respect did not like it. I did not enjoy the first Superman movie just because of what it did to what I thought Superman was. So I didn't want to go further down that road.
Tell me. Do you bleed? You will.
And you put that on the list, and I kind of feel like I have to judge it from the standpoint that I'm just not going to go there. And that may be the problem that they're facing with. It's just that if you don't like what they've done with the first movies to set these fights up, you're not going to watch them. Or if you do watch them, you're not really enthused about it.
Yeah.
So you're either not going to go to the theater, or you're going to wait until you're at somebody's house, right?
Yeah.
And that's not what Hollywood wants. They want to make good movies. I think they really do. You don't get into that business without at least wanting to tell a good story, I hope.
I don't know. Depends who you ask at this point. Some people are very cynical.
Alright, well, what I will say about this is just, we're headed toward more Versus movies, and I said that earlier. And the reason I know that is just because you've got studios like Disney who's buying everything. They're buying everything.
They made
I wouldn't be surprised. I work in
$1 billion last year.
I work in a box factory, and I wouldn't be surprised if Disney bought my box factory. I really wouldn't.
Put a big D on all your boxes.
Yeah, a really big D that I would have to work. I'd have to work that D every night.
Okay, so those are the flaws.
Yeah. What are the pros?
Well, you get to see your favorite characters interact for a bit.
Yeah, but it's like the problem, and maybe we got to this earlier. Problem with these versus movies, I'll finish your thought for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, the problem with these versus movies is that the element of them that gets them made is that they're pandering to people who would see them. If you're already pandering, if you're already shilling something, even if you've got a good product, right? I'm not saying that some of these movies won't be good. They might be good. But even if there's this taint on something that's being shilled to me. If I'm at a flea market, some guy says, "Hey, you," right? Immediately I'm it's off-putting, right? Because I'm not interested in what they have to say because they called me out, right? Doesn't matter if what they have is exactly what I need for the right price, right? It's irrelevant. Am I wrong about this? Like, you get in that moment where you're being pandered to and it's insulting, isn't it?
Yeah, at first. And then somehow you just kind of trick yourself into going to see it anyway.
I suppose.
Raising my hand right now.
Yeah, that's you. Well, then you're their base. You're what's keeping Hollywood. You're like part of the tripod. I don't know what the other two parts
I'm not.
are.
I hardly saw a Hollywood movie last year. I was in the theater 10 times.
How many of them were kids' movies with my kids?
I saw all the superhero movies. I saw most of the kid movies with you and your fam. And Star Wars. That was it.
Yeah. All right. I'll give you that.
Okay.
All right. So what I was saying before that was we have a lot of this to look forward to. We either look forward to it or we don't.
Yeah.
My hang-up is I already like what I'm seeing from Skull Island. I liked the American Godzilla. A lot of people didn't. Whatever. Yeah. I don't care. It wasn't made for them. It was made for me. The King Kong movie seems like it's being made for me. The Peter Jackson one, not so much. I feel like I'm going to go see Godzilla vs. King Kong, but the problem I'm having is that I know I'm going to go in and not be happy with whatever outcome they come to.
So, what do you think will happen? Draw, or they team up and fight something else?
That's the problem. You know,
those are your options.
Those are your options. Maybe it's an elementary thing. There's a reason. You brought up Aristotle, so it's your fault. There's a reason that Shakespeare has lasted as long as it has.
Yeah.
It's because it's both immediate and timeless. You can read Shakespeare at any time and any age, and it'll feel immediate, but be timeless because of the time period it's set in. You understand where I'm going from that?
Okay.
The reason for that is he pretty much used all the story arcs that are available. We've been conditioned as moviegoers to expect a thrill, but there is no thrill because there are only so many story arcs. So it's sort of like, how do I explain this? It's hard to make an analogy for this because there's expectation versus reality. Okay? And you're always going to face that. They're not going to be able to surprise us, and the reason you already know the outcome is that it's going to be disappointing no matter what. So they're choosing to make a movie that's disappointing no matter what, and you either line up for that or not. Whether or not you complain about that is what makes you a neckbeard. I guess. I listened to maybe this is where I'm coming from on this, and I thought about it a few seconds. Why aren't you talking?
I'm listening. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm with you.
I listened to a review just before Force Awakens came out. I listened to a review on PBS about the first Star Wars. And in the review, they spoiled the ending. Now, this was before spoilers. This was back when people understood, hey, there's happy endings. Yeah. They exist. You can go watch a movie and know it's going to be a happy ending and still enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's about the journey to the happy ending.
Yeah.
It's about writing a good story to the happy ending that makes it good. Or it's about a story that is to a sad ending that makes it good. It's the middle part that makes it good. It's the part that you know the conclusion you're going to get to. There's only a few conclusions you can get to. It's how you get to that conclusion, and if it makes sense, that makes it good. And all the movies we like, any movie you like is going to have an ending that either went the way you thought or didn't. But it's how you got to that point that made you appreciate the ending.
Yeah.
Like there's ones that I'm talking to you, M. Night Shyamalan. There's ones that like where they try to do a twist ending, but the journey there didn't match up with your twist.
What a twist!
Or there's ones that you know where it's going and it doesn't matter because you are invested in the story because it's well done. If they make a versus movie that's well done, yes. But if they just continue to pander to you the way they try to advertise the movie to you, they try to pander to you while you're watching it. They don't need to pander to you anymore.
Okay.
You're in the seat.
So how would you fix or make versus films better.
Have a winner so people can have an argument about it.
There you go. That's the only way to fix them.
It would. Just have King Kong lose. He's a flesh and blood animal versus a reptile. That loses every time in the wild. Go watch any video about I don't know, a wildebeest or even something going near a crocodile.
Yeah.
The crocodile's going to win every time. A lion. I've seen lions lose.
Unless it's an anaconda.
In the wild, there can be only one predator at the top of the food chain. And no predator will settle for number 2. Lake Placid versus Anaconda.
Reptile.
Yeah. Oh, shit, you're right. Sorry.
Welcome back. Point is, there are just... The mammals are a little more soft. And I mean, if you've got a reptile that can breathe radioactive fire, then you're just going to have that mammal lose, no matter how good he is. No matter how American that gorilla is, he's going to just have to lose this one because he doesn't have the nuke. He doesn't have the nuke. It just doesn't make sense.
I just pictured a boxing match where Khan comes out with a crew and someone's carrying a giant American flag behind him. He's got sunglasses and manacles on his wrists.
Yeah.
In this corner,
Iron Kong Tyson. Yeah.
I for one am excited for.
I guess that's what we're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's going to be other ones, and the reason there's going to be other ones, like I said, whether we see them or not, in the future there will be versus movies just because they have these universes.
That's true.
I mean, we now have a Mummy movie coming with Tom Cruise in it.
I know.
Not Brendan Fraser. And the funny thing is, people are up in arms that it's not Brendan Fraser again, even though Brendan Fraser wasn't the first. He was just the first for a particular generation, but it's just that it's Tom
the tone
Cruise.
change. It's the tone change too, because this is going to be a straight up horror thriller.
Did you watch that video I sent you where it was just sound effects?
Yeah, I was like, what the hell?
That was a mistake. Did you watch that?
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing but it's hilarious.
It's like those music videos where they just take out the music and just do sound effects for the
guy. Those are great.
Yep.
Yeah, but this one was unintentionally done. It's so funny.
Are there any Dream versus movies you would like to see down the road?
I would like to see Star Wars versus Star Trek. Because why not?
The universe would implode.
Why not?
People's heads would explode.
Yes. I want that because I want to see the outright fistfights at you go to Comic-Con, whatever coast you go to, Chicago or New York or San Diego. I just want that movie to exist just to see those fistfights.
The Enterprise should definitely defeat a Star Destroyer.
What do I want to see versus? I don't know. I don't know what I could see versus.
There's one thing I've been dying for years, and I was hoping maybe with a reboot we would get it, but apparently not. RoboCop versus Terminator.
RoboCop versus
There's been comic books, there's been video games, there's been fan films.
Well, but you have to admit there are things that there are concepts that are easier to swallow in
a
comic book than seeing on screen.
It's one's a machine.
There's a reason you can't pull off tights on screen. There just is. There's a reason they have to redesign those suits. And
think about it. A man inside of a machine and a machine inside of a man.
Yeah, but it would never get cool beyond the trailer. You would get in the seat. I'm telling you, Jordan, you would get in the seat and be disappointed with whatever.
Hollywood make it happen, all right? You rebooted RoboCop terribly.
Listen to me, Hollywood. If you want to make money, do what he says.
Do it. Do it now.
If you want to make happy movies.
With the cameo by Arnold.
If you want to make a decent movie, don't. But if you want to make money...
Hey, RoboCop 2 and 3 are proof that you could take a comic book storyline and make two movies.
You know what I want to see? I just want to see something that... There is no such thing as an original property. There's going to be something that is always a perversion of some other story at this point.
Everything is a remix.
Yes, but there are good remixes. Mm-hmm. I would just like to see a good remix. I would like to see something that is just good, and I don't care if it's versus or what. And if I have to say the versus I want to see, it would be Godzilla versus King Kong, but it was only because it was so inconclusive the first time. And there is a high chance that it's going to be inconclusive again. So how can I look forward to that?
They're going to go their separate ways off into the sunset.
Yeah, they're going to swim in different directions while there's a steaming pile of city left behind them.
And maybe a carcass of something that they kill together. Probably King Ghidorah.
Maybe I lied. I would like to see Gypsy Danger versus Godzilla, but that...
Also a possibility if the rumors are true.
Also a possibility if they go with the story idea I came up with. Who's listening now?
Right. I'm sorry, I'm a Hollywood screenwriter. I can't listen to that legally, okay?
Alright, whatever.
That's true, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't care. I don't care if somebody makes $1 million off it as long as I get to see it. No. This is the storyline I came up with.
Okay, go for it.
In the back of my mind, I was just driving to work, and I'm like, well, what if they're not aliens in the sense that they're aliens from another planet? What if they're just interdimensional monsters?
That's what I always took them as.
Yes, they're taking advantage of another version of Earth that they're from. Right?
What a twist!
And the only reason they never took on the version of Earth with Godzilla in it was because of Godzilla. Yeah. And then when they had to face Gypsy Danger and lost,
they created a rift and let Godzilla in.
They create the rift to make this fight. They put Godzilla into this dimension to fight Gypsy Danger. Because Godzilla was the thing they knew they couldn't defeat.
Oh.
Yes.
What a twist!
Green light that immediately. I would watch that.
Actually,
find a hole in that plot.
So, you know what? I definitely can. Just give me a second.
I'm scratching my neck beard. I can't seem to find any problem with that at this point.
The worst part is we're making fun of part of our demographic. So, whoops.
Well, not really. We're making fun of people that are like us.
That's true.
If you can't make fun of yourself, then stop listening to us because we're just folly.
So it's the bald guy and the other dude with a double chin.
Hey, I am naturally bald. I didn't shave this to look like Vin Diesel. Nature did this to me.
You're like a pregnant Jason Statham.
Yes.
This is the booze talking. So, our stance in versus movies is...
How can you stop them? That's my stance.
You cannot stop them.
You may end up with a good one. Fine. Hollywood you know what? Not just Hollywood. Story writing in general, for centuries. It's easy to crap on Hollywood. Story writing in general for centuries is just, let's just throw everything to the wall and see what sticks. And you get some classics out of that. The only thing that's been frustrating lately is there's just been so much we know what sticks. I would just like someone to take a risk. That's what I'm waiting for. And that's why I'm looking forward to John Wick 2. Because John Wick, the first John Wick, came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I liked it. And I just want to see him kill another 75 to 200 people. That's all. That's all I want out of that movie. I want him to, gun foo, car foo, plate foo, table foo, whatever foo he wants to use. Plane foo.
Fooing all day.
Yeah. How did we get there?
Keanu foo.
All right, what is the conclusion you've come to? About versus movies.
They're still extraordinarily flawed, and you're right, we just need to start killing characters. You have to have a final ending. It's not this bullshit like, they go off in separate directions, and maybe we'll see them team up again or fight again.
Well, what's frustrating? Here's what I'll say what's frustrating about that, and that's where Shakespeare got it right, is that kill off your characters, but keep the arc. Yeah. And you can make a new character in that same arc, and it'll be just as likable. For I don't know how many times over they've told, My Fair Lady is Pygmalion, stuff like that. Yeah. You can take the same story, put different people in it, and people all of a sudden, oh, this is new! Hey, I'll tell all my friends about this. Well, it isn't new, but still, it feels new enough to be enjoyed.
Yep.
And if you enjoy a movie, good for you. Good for you, you finally sat down and enjoyed a movie. Because it's been so long. Alright, so yeah.
So, character arcs, better writing, and finalized endings.
Yes, and take note of my criteria for judging movies, because I'm going to do it from here on out.
That's right.
Until it fails.
Is the movie good on its own? And is it good in its universe? And do you enjoy it? So...
And for some reason, do I enjoy it as last? Okay, so here I am, Silent Steve, out.
And this is Jordan signing off. We'll be back again, talk about Star Wars Rogue One at some point, probably next month.
Mostly arguing.
Arguing, yes.
Star Wars arguing.
Which this might be the first time we've argued. Who will win? Steven versus Jordan.
Steven will win. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
A bunch of goddamn nerds.
Well, let's get those nerds!